There we are.
Hey, we're live.
We're live.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
All right. So, guys, I appreciate you doing this with me. It was fun to kind of brainstorm it with you last week. I don't know what we're calling this. I know we're going with Recruiter Roundtable, but 3 for 3 for 3. 3 of us, 3 topics, 3 minutes. Let's just jump right into it. You know, we each wanted to bring a topic to the table. I decided for the Halloween theme, my topic is going to be the negative effects of ghosting. So we see it all the time as recruiters. People are, I'm really getting flooded out by the sunlight coming in my office right now. The people disappear, whether it be I'll call our industry out, first of all, recruiters, right? We can't be ghosting people. We can't have candidates ghosting our clients. That certainly doesn't help us at all. And we can't have our clients ghosting us or the candidate. So really, it affects everybody, the negative impact of ghosting. Ghosting is becoming, sadly, more and more of a common practice. And we're all based here in Northeast Ohio. And it's certainly a big area. It's a major city, but it's also a very small town. You know, when you get into a specific industry, and you can develop a pretty negative reputation pretty quickly. And especially, you know, if you're working in a very specific niche, if you're a skilled tradesperson, for us working with manufacturers, there's only so many of you guys out there. Your name is gonna carry. If you're a company that is known for it, you're going to lose interest from candidates. And if you're a recruiter who's known for doing this, you're going to lose, people aren't going to come to you seeking a job. So that's my perception. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, no, I know that for me, I have preached this for years, like because of the reputation that goes in with recruiters. You know, I hear from a recruiter, but then I never hear back. So, you know, my expectation is to answer every email. Whether it's a no, whether it's a yes, whether it's I'm not interested from anybody, like you just answer back, because you never know when it's gonna come to get you. And I think it's the same way with job seekers. Like if somebody says, you know, we're looking to fill the role, but we're not interested in your resume at this time, don't just leave the email empty. Reply back to them, because you never know when it's going to take you over that edge and maybe make you stand out. If 10 people say nothing and one person says, okay, thank you for your time, you know, I look forward to hearing from you in the future, that can make you stand out. So you want to make sure that ghosting piece is gone. It does hurt us in the hospitality industry. We've had some people just disappear, and you know, they're gone, and you don't know where they're at. And then you hear from them 3 weeks later and say, well, I just wasn't interested in the job. Okay, well, you still need to let us know those kind of things, because recruiters might have they might have that reputation, but we still have a mind that knows, like, okay, let's mark this person as maybe a do not use.
And I think too many people are playing the short game. So they look at it and say, not interested. Or even from the recruiter standpoint, oh, not a fit. Okay, well, that's fine for right now, but how about down the road? You know, people don't play the long game enough when it comes to their relationship building, when it comes to their future job. You may be happy in your job right now, but will you be in 2 or 3 years from now? You know, you build that relationship with the recruiter, that goes a long way. Just as that recruiter, that job that you're recruiting on right now may not be the right fit for the candidate who reached out, but they might be a better fit for something else. You got to look big picture.
Absolutely. All right. Which one of you guys wants to go next with your next topic?
Chris, why don't you go right ahead, because it kind of flows into the ghosting thing easily.
So I jokingly called mine the trick of the treat. And the idea of it is follow-up after interviews can land sweet rewards. Simply put, when you finish an interview, what do? Obviously, you're saying thank you for your time, and you're wrapping either the call or the in-person interview or the virtual interview up. But not many people take time to truly understand what, when it comes to follow-up, what the importance of follow-up might be. You got to think of it this way. They may interview 25 people, 20 people, 15 people for that job. how many are taking that time to follow up? And especially if your background, if your credentials very closely match another candidate, if they don't reach out and you do with a thank you, that could be the deciding factor, or vice versa if they do and you don't. And it also goes back to just the old common sense, back to our, what would your mother tell you to do? And, you want to just follow up. So that's the key thing there, is don't leave an interview hanging. Do your due diligence and make sure you follow up with a thank you.
Yeah, and I always go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, so my methodology on that front was there's a dying art called handwritten notes. Some of the people on this might not have ever heard of that, depending how, what age they're at. But a handwritten note goes a long way. So my methodology was always night of the interview, once it's been completed, send a follow-up note.
Yep.
And then that very same night, write a note, drop it in the mail. So 3 or 4 days later, they're getting a handwritten note from me. So I get 2 additional touch points with that individual. And hopefully, they see that I'm serious about the job. Always in that handwritten note and in the email, write something meaningful. Write something that was part of the conversation. Hey, I really enjoyed connecting over our relationship, having both gone to Ohio University. Go Bobcats.
Yep.
That's enough that you were engaged with the conversation.
Right. I think you played back to Chris what you were saying in the last one. Honestly, like, this is where the ghosting can start.
Yep.
If they go through the interview and they are interested, but you don't follow up. I mean, look, the close is one of the most important parts of the interview. So that's another way it can land that sweet reward, which starts the follow up. Like Taylor said, like, you close, then you get the email touch point, you handwrite something, you drop it in the mail. But if you get a rejection letter, you should still follow up and say thank you. I mean, because again, you don't know where you're going to be in 2 years. And if that company, if you really want to work for that company, they're going to remember that.
And it's also important, if you have not done it yet, it's essential that in that thank you letter, assuming it's before a rejection or a no thank you letter, of course, but if you finish that interview, and you can use what Taylor suggested, the 2-prong, the email and the written note. I would, in the email note, thank them for their time and tell me looking forward to whatever next steps might be, to get an idea of what the next steps might be in that situation. And then in the personal note, you can add a little, again, a handwritten note, a little personal touch. So they know that you really care about them, but you want to be engaged as to knowing what's going to happen next. A good hiring manager will clearly set the expectation of what to potentially expect next. But if they've not clarified that for you, that's a good time to ask for it.
Absolutely. Mr. Carpenter, on to your topic.
Yeah, mine's pretty much, I've been looking at this for a couple months for people. And sadly, we're seeing it outside. The hotel industry's is it's waning. People are kind of leaving the industry. And so a scary thought about your career, like if you've been in an industry for 20 years and your industry's devastated, it's probably time to start looking outside of that industry and not waiting, right? It's time to get yourself moving. A salesperson in a hotels can sell for anything. I mean, they have the business transient and the corporate sales markets that they've already handled. So we'll just take manufacturing for an example, right? If the manufacturing people are looking for a salesperson, and they need the corporate markets, like, there's a ton of hotel sales managers who have that. And so it's probably time. I mean, here we are 7.5, 8 months into this, and who knows when the end of this is going to happen, that there are jobs out there, but it might be time to look, in an introspect and say, do I need to leave my industry that I've loved for the last 25 years and make a change? I know that for me, I was in retail for 19 years. And, when my parents asked me to take this business over, it was a big jump because I'd never really done this before. But, if you don't make jumps and you're not afraid to fail, then, you got to do it. Right. And so I think people should kind of lean in that and ride with it and see what happens.
I think Richard Branson, was the one who made the statement, if they ask if you can do the job, say yes and figure it out later. Mm-hmm. And that's what it boils down to, put it another way, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. I just think it's so important that companies also be willing to work with the candidate too, to during these times, like really see their transferable skills, value them, highlight them, and for the job seeker, it's a new adventure, right? There's an opportunity to do something you may not have done before. So I think at this time, that's a very timely topic. So guys, we did pretty good on time. Thanks for today. We're going to do this again in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Hopefully our listeners got some value out of this. And yeah, thanks for the time today, guys.
Guys, have a great day.
See you guys.